Okay, let's talk about, we'll do some progression here about what we worked on today. Your natural instinct, there are 6 things we can possibly move in the swing. We move the shoulders, hips, the wrist. Those are the 3 things that get you in the most trouble when you try to move them as a force. They're part of the motion, but not the force. Force is how we interact with the ground. That's our ground reactional forces as we push off the ground. Our core muscles and our arms. Those are the ones we want to kind of tune into those as your primary motion, and the other 3 are reaction. As you go down and hit this chip shot, you're going to see your wrist break down, this hand's going to flexion, this is an extension. If you watch a tour player go through, hit the shot, you'll see that the front hand is in flexion here, and there's extension, which creates shaft lean, which is compression. So that's applying leverage to something. So whether these are full swings, but this is going to create a downward blow to the ball, which is going to create compression. You'll see the ball, then the divot afterwards. And when you do yours, you're going to most likely either hit it thin or heavy because that club is already on the way up in your swing. And this is like a half pitch you were trying to do here. So if we move ahead here, let's move back. So if we go, let's go right here to this one. Now my chipping here in this drill where I'm hugging 2 things here in this first drill. I'm hugging, this is a drill we'll see in a bigger version also, that I'm hugging my core here. And my arm is going to stay next to my body, and I'm going to hit the ball with my core, my legs, and my ground forces. And I'm going to maintain this angle right here, which is extension in the hand, meaning I won't use my wrist. My hands are going to be quiet. You'll see my hand, I will move through, moving my legs. My ground will push to move my hips and my chest and my core. My arms moving through it, but I'm trying to have that hit. That gives me this shaft lean. So if it looks like it here with the golf club, it looks the same, and then me hitting the impact back, the same thing. There's a hit. And below you can see here in the picture where I'm going to hit a ball and it'll get compressed off the face and it pops it up in the air. So this is a feeling that we worked on in your short shots. This is in your shorter shots, your hands are really wanting to do too much work, and we got to learn to just play leverage in the small swing. Now the big swing, let's change here. So the big thing here in your swing is that you're trying to get all the power up here and not using the ground or any of your forces down here. And every once in a while they would get involved, but it wasn't consistent enough. So your first move is to make this big shoulder turn, and there's no resistance down here. So what happens is you turn and energy starts pulling behind you. So all the resistance is up top. Now the only thing you can do at this point is you're going to move your shoulders first, because you can't really work from the ground. So the next thing that's going to happen here is those shoulders are going to move first. And what happens, that sends the club out casting a little bit too soon, and now your body is opened up too soon. So your front shoulder, this one, is pulling away from the thing that you're trying to hit, and then you flip those hands, and that's your timing. There's really no ground, and every once in a while you kind of line it up, but you're never going to get that true compression as you got in those few swings. So we worked on how to kind of get to feel their backswing, which is we call the load part of the swing. Let's back this up. So the first thing is we're going to go, let's go forward here. We'll come back. So the first drill we did here today is we talked about this. I wanted you to feel resistance. So as I swing back here, I'm hugging my rib cage, and I want to feel resistance. And you see the shaft doesn't really go anywhere. If you sit there in your swing, the shaft would kind of spin away at this point because the weight is kind of going behind you. So you're going to feel resistance here in your thighs and your feet, like they're grabbing the ground. This is building up a spring of energy right in your core, maybe at the belt buckle. So that's that first part. And that gets all my energy. I've created this, but that my power is going to be able to push off the ground and get my power going back to the other way. The next thing is I'm going to feel my hand punching outward. And this is where you felt that first move, and then you felt the stretch right. I think you felt it right back here somewhere. So it's in the back here, and that stretch is right there. Again, it's important for not the club to move. You can move a little bit, but it shouldn't move away from your waist, shouldn't fall. So I'm feeling resistance connected here, resistance there. And that's your spring. I wanted you to feel power instead of, so your backswing, instead of this big turning feeling, you're getting a stretching feeling. And if I do it with the golf club, I'm going to end up here. Now this puts me in a position to work from the ground. Now from there, we want to apply leverage to something. So now I'm in this wound up position. I need to apply leverage. Now your instinct is to get this shoulder to spin away. And we're going to do with me doing this drill where I've got myself, I'm hugging, again, like the chipping drill, I'm hugging my core. I feel the power coming from my legs. I just create this spring right there. That's my power. And I'm going to feel like I'm going to hit that bag with a force. And I'm hitting it with not my wrist. You see, I'm hitting my core muscles. And that's your power. That's where your strength. We had to load that spring up, and then we're hitting with that feeling. And we bring Rory back into the picture. You'll see how he's applying leverage to the ball. So there's the force. And we go back here. We'll move ahead. This is Jon Rahm. This is good to see him on his backswing. You're going to see what a stretch looks like. People think he has a short swing. All he's really doing is stretching. See the resistance here in the hips and legs? He's pushing this way, and he's pushing that way. So what he's doing is not a short swing. He's stretching and not twisting. So now he has more stored up energy. And again, in the drill, he's just hitting the bag as a force. So there's your load spring, and there's a force, not speed. Now threw the ball after it. Let's see if we move ahead. So at this point, we're going to release that energy. So there's the hit at the bag, and right there, we're just going to release it and let it fly. You do this pretty good. So right at impact, we're turning this thing into a slingshot. There's a hit, and then we'll just release all the energy we got. Hips and shoulders all fly through here. At this point, we're not really trying to hold anything back, and just that gets you through the shot. Let's look at your other swing you did. Okay, so this is a teaching aid. We were swinging back and forth. This was part of you taking two swings. So the first part of it is just to feel, you kind of go back and forth a couple times, and as you do the second swing, you can tighten things up. So right about there, you're feeling motion, but you're also starting to feel, instead of you just freely turning, you're starting to feel restriction and that stretch right there. And that compacts your swing. Now, even though they might look the same, your natural motion, this one, your front shoulder will go open and you're going to flip. And this, you went down from the inside. See how this is coming over the top and outside. And this worked more down and back to leverage. And then you can release everything. So you can see here back and forth. And then right there, as you swing back and forth, you resist here in your core. And feel the stretch. Once you feel that stretch, it's time to go back to the other side, pretend you're hitting the bag as a force, and then let it fly. Now this also gets you that little simple feeling of what you're trying to hit on every shot. See how your head stays very centered. Look at all the energy working from the ground. and your shoulders are reacting. Up here, your shoulders are the swing. That's why you're out of balance. You can see how much your head is moving all over the place because you're top heavy with those shoulders. And over here, so your head stays in the same spot. That doesn't mean I told you to keep your head still, but because we moved from the ground, your core found its centering point, and that's your leverage. So you can see here, when you do it correctly, your head will stay very centered, and there's your hit. And this is nice. It's not a bad teaching. It's called Light Speed. It's the orange whip. It's got the little ball the size of a golf ball, not a tennis ball. You can actually make this thing go pretty fast. Going back and forth helps you kind of feel that feeling. Let's see if we have one more hit. This is a good one. See how you're moving you're starting to move from the lower half. That's compression. There's the O flip and twist, and this is the hit and let it fly. So just keep working on those little key things in these drills, and you should be able to start getting much more consistent or better feeling of how to adjust correctly.